Hi guys, welcome back to the Basketball Feed channel, the basketball channel for you. Today, today we'll be doing things that each Eastern Conference team needs to do. I've already done the Western Conference version of this video, so if you want to see that video, the link will be in the description, or you can just go to my channel. You'll see that video and all my videos. If you're new to the channel, like the video, subscribe. It will really help me. It will really help my family. I would really appreciate it. Let's get into the video. So yes, as I said, I've done the Western Conference version. So now we're doing things that each Eastern Conference team needs to do. And like I said before with my previous video, we're going to be focusing more on the playoff teams, because that's the teams, that'll be really in the thick of it. So now, let's get into it. First, the Pistons. The Pistons are 34-12. One thing that I could say about the Pistons, they're a really good team, real ball dominant team. But as you look here, right, they've lost to the Clippers, the Suns. They've lost to the Rockets. These are good teams, so I wouldn't be really fussed. And they also beat good teams. The Heat, like a streaky team like the Trailblazers, they can just get hot. The Jazz, I don't know about the Jazz, I won't lie to you. The Jazz is an iffy team. But anyway, one thing that I can say about the Pistons is that you can't let down, because, a string of games and then you could find yourself in the third seed. Now, the second team, which I'll be speaking about later, the Knicks, they're not, that close to them. They have a pretty healthy lead on the conference. So I would say just keep on pushing it, find your identity, find your standing point. Just try not to go on too many losses, because, once you start getting into too many losses, then you'll start going in and out of fixtures, winning, losing. Because, for example, the Warriors, once they lost Jimmy Butler, they started winning, losing, then they started losing, and then they started winning. It's really weird. They're up and down. They can't find consistency. They're not even consistently bad, They're in this mix where they can't win, they can't lose, so they can't tank, and they can't be playoff contenders. So just keep winning for the Pistons, even if it's 3 in a row, you lose one. They had 4 in a row, you lose one. What, you lose 2? Just make sure you keep that spot. And it'll also help for home court. That's one thing. And second of all, there's nothing else to say. The Knicks, we have next, second seed, 29-18. It's a pretty good record for the Knicks. They have had some struggles. Jalen Brunson was injured at some point. Cat hasn't performed as well as you think he'll perform. But something about the Knicks just gotta make sure that they keep the Celtics at bay, because the Celtics are right at the bottom. Might as well speak about the Celtics now. The Celtics are exceeding all expectations. With this type of roster, Jalen Brown is carrying the hell out of this team. You have Jason Tatum, who is obviously nursing an injury right now, and then Jalen Brown's second string player is Derek White. That is not second string level. I mean, he has the potential to do that. I hear some people say that, oh, he could be an all-star. I mean, let's be real, you can't be an all-star. The East is, has these amazing players. Just look at other than Derek White pictured, Jalen Brown, and maybe Anthony Simons. In fact, Anthony Simons comes off the bench. Who else here is going to help his team? Barely anyone. So, I'm going to go back there. Celtics and Knicks, just keep on keeping each other at bay, They're going to have to play each other at some point. Maybe someone has to win that game, because that's a tiebreaker game. And then the Raptors are also there. They have the same amount of wins as you, only one less loss, as well as the Cavs. The Raptors are a pretty good team. Brandon Ingram is really coming on to his own. I would say that, just keep on pushing it. Don't try and go on a slump, because we know they can go on a slump. And the Cavs were actually at some point the 8th seed, so I commend them, They actually they actually did bring it back up. They were really, not really bad, but they weren't as good. They were the 8th seed maybe 2 weeks ago. So that's something for those 5 teams as they keep on battling for each other. And then you have the Sixers. Sixers is the odd team, because, Joel Embiid riddled with injuries, but he's actually back and he's jumping as well, which is a miracle, some say. But Tyrese Maxey, would I say carrying? No, maybe not. Maybe like last month he was carrying, but right now he's definitely not carrying. So I would say, try and keep Joel Embiid happy. So maybe don't put too much weight on him. I guess that's why Tyrese Maxey is there. And VJ Edgecombe is a star. He is a real star. Now the Heat. Heat are a weird team because they're 26 and 23. I'm not gonna try and compare like, oh, that's not good. That would be good in the West, but like you have to look at it in retrospective. If the Heat say if the Heat stay in the 7th seed, and the Magic play the Heat, or they go down, the Heat might try and fight for that 6th seed because they have the same amount of wins as the Sixers. 2 more losses, which kind of hurts them. But if they stay in that spot, they'll either have to play the Knicks or the Celtics in the first round. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to do that. So I don't really want to be that team. In fact, no disrespect to the Pistons, but I would argue that I'd rather play the Pistons. So maybe, like, I don't want to say try lose. I would say try win because, the Heat are pretty close to the Sixers. Whereas, like, a team like the Magic, they have a winning record by only by 2. So is it worth that risk? Do you want to kind of tank Commander trying to cheat the system? And then, let the NBA do its thing. But the Hawks as well are in there as well. The Hawks are a very iffy team. They just traded Trae Young, They can't find some type of consistency. Jalen Johnson is bowling, averaging about 24, 10, and 6, somewhere there. But you know what? The Magic as well. Let's speak about the Magic. I've already spoken about them and the record, but Desmond Bain can get streaky. Players like Jalen Suggs who can, get your bucket, play defense. Franz Wagner hasn't had the leap like Paolo, but Franz Wagner is a bit more versatile. Paolo is a big body, but they've been roasting him, saying he has no jumper. So this team was a playoff team. This team was a 6th seed, were playing well. They were looking into their own, and then something's just happened. They really need some fixing there. The Bulls. Now, the Bulls is a hilarious team because at one point, the Bulls were 5-0. The Bulls were the 2nd seed in the East, right? And then they decided to do Bulls thing. Here I was thinking, oh, this is a fresh new beginning. We have Detroit, we have the Bulls. Even, I'm not sure, was it one of these teams? I think it was the Hawks or the Magic. One of them were up there. And then, we're going to have our inaugural Hawks, Bulls, Heat play in. Those 3 teams have been in the play-in for the past 4 years. Which is, do I want to say it's a bad thing? I don't know, man. Maybe it's a bad thing for the franchises because it seems like they keep on staying in this type of loop. And it's worse for the teams that win the play-in actually than lose it, because teams that win the play-in are like less guaranteed to get lottery picks. So that's how like Dallas got Cooper Flag this last year. But anyway, Bulls, man, maybe try trade your assets, tank. I won't lie, it's looking sad. Kobe White could be useful in another team. Nikola Vucevic, Matas Buzelis is a player that you need to build around. That's something I would definitely say. Matas Buzelis is a star in the Rising. Then the Hornets, just trust Conquerable, honestly. Trust Conquerable to take you there. You're not gonna be good now, obviously, but when you get there, LaMelo Ball, I don't know if you want to trade him or not. They did want to trade him at one point, but he's kind of hooping. Brandon Miller can be that good wing defender if he wants to, and also score. He's a very athletic player. Miles Bridges can also score, can put the ball in the basket. I would just say tank commander. The Bucks. Now the Bucks is probably the most interesting team. The Bucks are probably gonna trade Giannis. We'll see where it goes. I hope he goes to the Warriors. But anyway, the Bucks will trade Giannis. After that, I'm telling you right now, this team has the possibility to be the worst team ever. They might beat the flipping Detroit. You know how bad Detroit was back like 3 years ago. They might defeat that. They might overcome that record and be the worst team we've ever seen. Because look at that team. Other than Giannis, that team is absolute like poo. You know what I'm saying? They're not, they're not meant for this level. It's actually annoying me because I don't have the words to speak about the Bucks, because like the Bucks are a genuinely dying franchise from a team that literally won the championship. You had Chris Middleton averaging 20 plus, Drew Holiday playing the defense of his life, and then you had wing scorers Bobby Portis Jr., and then you had AJ Green just shooting the lights out. You know what? I'm not sure if this is true. The Bucks might be the best 3-point shooting team, maybe percentage wise. But it fluctuates, and it obviously changes, as teams play. So it might not be, but they are one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league. But they're not using that to advantage. Even Gary Trent, Gary Trent could go on a hot streak. Gary Trent is a solid player. Now the Nets. I only have two things to say about the Nets. Tank Commander Michael Porter Jr. Actually, no. They'll trade Michael Porter Jr., yes. But something that I have with the Nets, an issue that I have with the Nets, is that Cam Thomas is on a 1-year deal, but he's asked for a no release clause, which is a very, very weird thing for someone as talented as Cam Thomas to do. He can literally just move teams, Also play for a better team. He's that good. He might be a shot checker, but he is that good. So the no trade clause baffles me, because no trade clause would be like, okay, we'll give you a 3-year contract and no trade clause, but it's a 1-year contract, which is very odd. The Wizards, Tank Commander, we don't even need to speak about them. The Pacers, if they get Tyrese, they're top 4 East team. That's a very simple statement. Yes, Miles Turner is gone. He was a big part, but let's be real, he also couldn't rebound the ball. Him and Chet Holmgren were going band for band on 2 rebounds each in the NBA Finals. So Tyrese Haliburton will uplift this team, and it's looking like they're going to get a pick. That is it for all the teams. I'll see you guys next time. Like the video, subscribe if you're new. Thank you.